Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Arsenal have just announced the signing of Gabriel Jesus. Obviously surprises no one. We've known about this for about a week now. Um, Brilliant signing, absolutely massive signing that we actually needed to make. Um, Obviously, Aubameyang's gone, Lacazette's leaving, he's left now. We've got Nketiah, we've re-signed him, but it's good to have an experienced striker to test Eddie against. And he's a world class player. I mean, he's a world class player. He normally plays out on the wing at City, but obviously that's the only place that you can get in the team over there. Here, I think he's going to be um, yeah, as a striker, but he's able to then move to the right if he ever needs to. We do like to swap and switch around and change around during the game, so he's more than comfortable doing that. But I think mainly he's going to be our striker, and I think he's going to score really quite a lot of goals for us. Um, yeah, a big signing. I think it's like 45 million or something, which is awesome. In this today's market as well, it's really good. I mean, it comes down to the fact that City wanted to get rid of him as well as Arsenal wanted to sign him. But yeah, City selling him is not an indication of that he's rubbish or anything. It's just an indication of just how elite that squad is. And they've just brought Haaland in. They've got the other guy as well. I want to say Nunez. Darwin Nunez. So they've got a couple of really top attackers coming in. So yeah, I think he's going to do really well for us. I think he's an absolute boss, the Europa League, if he plays in it. If not, the Premier League, he's going to. I think he's going to do really well. I think I really want to see him playing with Erdegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe. Um, and I think we're going to have a really good attack. And then adding to that, we've just signed um, Vieira as well, which is awesome. Fabio Vieira um, from Porto, which is awesome. He's a really young attacking midfielder. Um, I'm not sure whether we're going to use him as a number 10 or whether we're going to use him a little bit deeper or maybe move things around. I think we're going to go for a 4-3-3, so it's going to be interesting where we're going to play these players, really. Vieira's a little bit with those one where you're not quite sure where we're going to be playing him. So I'm assuming Odegaard's going to be our starting number 10. So is he going to start alongside Odegaard? Is he going to start behind Odegaard and move forward during the game? We'll have to wait and see. But he's a really good player. I've seen some footage of him, obviously. I don't watch the Portuguese league all that often. I do follow it a little bit, or I used to, because there was a couple of Mexican players in there. But he seems like a really good player. And obviously, he had that moon boot on and everything. And I know if we signed another injured player, but obviously he come out and said, no, it's just a precaution. It was a little bit sore, blah, blah, blah. He's in part of preseason, he's going to play with the preseason, so it looks all good right now. And then obviously we've got that 19-year-old Marquinhos kid. Forget the club we signed him for, but for me that smacks of Martinelli, which is A-okay with me. I mean, Martinelli is an absolute baller, so um, I don't think this Marquinhos kid is in FIFA though, which sucks. But yeah, really exciting so far. Um, Three really good signings. Obviously, we've renewed Eddie and Ketia, which is big. I mean, would I have given him number 14? Probably not. But hell, if you want to inspire a kid to kind of push on and become the best player he can be, you got to give him that number 14 shirt. I mean, it's not just a Norwich shirt as well. A lot of other players have had that shirt that haven't been as successful. So, Walcott had it, for example. He won a couple of FA Cups, sure, but if number 14 was Walcott's and not Aaron Rees, I don't think the number would have mattered to many people. Um, so I don't mind. I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt. Last summer taught me that Arsenal kind of know what they're doing. And you know, don't question it as much because it probably is going to turn out alright. So we'll have to wait and see. Um, and the whole Rafinha thing as well. I was debating releasing videos for that, but I'm glad I didn't because it would have been embarrassing. Um, it's just we knew we were signing Gabriel Jesus, um, straight off the bat. That was never really in question. Although they took ages announcing it, which is weird. Excuse me. But like, it's clear that Rafinha wants to go to Barcelona. And if we can't do that, then he wants to play in the club with the Champions League. Having said that, I think he was genuinely interested and genuinely intrigued by Arsenal, by what Arteta was telling him and Eddie was telling him, and the fact that he was going to be able to play with Gabriel Jesus, our defender Gabriel, and obviously Martinelli as well. I think that really turned his eye. But for him, it's Barcelona, Barcelona, Barcelona. Um, and at one point, we signed Gabriel Jesus. We were almost, it looked like we were almost signing Rafinha, and we were almost signing Lisandro Martinez from Ajax. Um, the Rafinha deal, I kind of understand. I mean, it sucked at the time. It sucked like a week ago. It really sucked because I was like, he's a really good player, and I think he would have added serious, serious depth to our team. Having said that, I think winger's not actually an important position for us. Um, you know, it might be if Pepe leaves. I mean, there was rumours that he was going to leave because obviously he changed agents, sorry, and then obviously thinking, okay, if a player changes agents, it looks like they're thinking about moving, which I don't think many Arsenal fans would hate. I wouldn't hate Pepe leaving. He's a good player, but it just hasn't worked out for us. It just hasn't, and he's had a good few seasons now to try, and it's just not worked out. It doesn't seem like a player Arteta absolutely is massively fond of, as in using. So I think Pepe will leave. In that case, right wing does look a little bit sketchy. Left wing, I think we saw it. Martinelli can play there. Smith Rowe can play there. We've got Flores in the U23s. I think he can play there as well. I think left wing we're more than fine. Right wing can get a little bit dodgy. There was talk if we'd signed Rafinha for 50 odd, 40 odd, 50 odd million pounds, then how can we play both Saka and Rafinha? I think I would have moved Saka to the left, have Rafinha on the right, and pushed Gabriel Jesus up front. But then that's Smith Rowe and Martinelli not playing. Um, Smith Rowe could play number 10, so he's got two positions that he can compete with, whereas Martinelli is really an out and out left winger. So I think it's okay. I think we need to get someone younger in for right wing. If we sell Pepe, um, I mean Flores, Hutchinson, both can play on the right. So maybe we sell Pepe and we keep those two as backup and just have Saka on the right and Martinelli on the left, and then they'll be backup and challenging them eventually. So we'll have to wait and see. For me, wingers is not essential. Striker was essential. We needed to get Gabriel Jesus in hardly because um, Nketiah is great, but he's still got improving to do. He's still not the finished article yet, and we need the finished article if we're going to compete in the Europa League and actually win something this season and get top four this season, which is we got close to doing, but we need to absolutely do that. Um, so that moves me on to the midfield. Absolutely, we need to get a new midfielder. We signed El Neni for another year. I think he's a good squad player. His players seem to absolutely love him. The staff loves him. He's never kicked up a fuss. He barely plays, really. He barely played last season. He played towards the end of the last season because Partey was out injured. Um, and Lokonga wasn't quite up to it. Um, he never complains. He never moans. He gets paid sod all. And he's just so happy to be at the club. He's one of those players that just loves to be at Arsenal and just thinking, wow, this is great. And this is what you want. You want players to actually be there. And you contrast that with Rafinha, who blatantly wanted to be somewhere else. Then I'd rather have Eldon in Rafinha in that respect because that stuff matters, especially to the fans and in the dressing room as well. Um, blatantly knows he's going to be a backup midfielder. He's going to get to play probably the Europa League and maybe the Carabao Cups and the FA Cups maybe. So he's going to be a bit part player, but it's another year, and then we can get rid of him on the free. Well, not get rid of him. We can let him go on a free. Um, this is a class guy and he's a class player. So for me, more than good enough to be our backup midfielder. We do need to bring a midfielder in though. There's still talks of Xhaka leaving. I don't think he's going to leave unless Roma or someone comes in with a decent offer. Um, maybe he thinks, you know, it's time's up. Enough's enough. I need a new challenge. Um, So it's a possibility that Xhaka leaves. If Xhaka leaves, we need to get at least, I think, one more midfielder in. For me, that's Tielemans. I'm not quite sure why we're dithering on that. There's talk. The talk is that the player side, we've agreed with. He's agreed to the contract. Everything's agreed. It's just we've not put an actual offer into last year. I think originally I thought it's because I was sort of thinking we'll see how much Rafinha is and Martinez is because we don't really know how much they're going to be, and then we'll figure out how much we can to then use against to offer Leicester for. I mean, it's talk we can get Tielemans for about £25 million, which is absolute bargain. He's Premier League proven. He's a great player. He's a good young age. He basically walks into our midfield. Him and Partey together would be absolutely sick. Um, but if we let Xhaka go, we need to get someone else in. And for me, that's Edson Alvarez from Ajax. We're already in talks with Ajax anyway. We've got a good relationship with Ajax. We've bought a lot of players before. We've sold a lot of players to them before. Um, we're in for Lisandro Martinez as well. I mean, he's going to be basically our left back because I love Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney on his day is absolutely amazing, but he didn't have that much of a good season last season. The season before, when we were dreadful, he was playing. He was our best player, really, for long stretches of the season before last. The season we finished eighth in. But last season, I didn't see that he was actually. I didn't see that same level from Tierney, and then he got injured, and he was injured for the rest of the season. He was injured for like 3 months, 4 months, and he's a bit injury prone as well. We can't rely on Tierney and just Tierney because we didn't have an adequate backup. Tavares just isn't at the level yet. He needs to go out on loan, by the way. I think he's going to go out on loan as well. Get Sandro Martinez in. He can play centre back if we needed to, but he can also play left back. And I think he'll play left back for us if we do sign him. So we're already in talks with him, Ajax anyway. Ajax are purportedly very, very happy with letting Edson Alvarez go, even though they've recently renewed his contract and he's a first team player for them. He's one of their best players. The fans love him, but they're still willing to let him go, which is odd. But um, yeah, we need a defensive midfielder. For me, Xhaka and Partey are not really defensive midfielders, not really, especially Partey. But Xhaka in particular, for me, it's just not it. He's not that great at the tackle. He's got a foul in him. He's got a red card in him. Like we talk about, I mean, he's picked on by the refs a lot, but he does make stupid decisions sometimes. Um, and I'd say bring Alvarez in. He's 20. I think he's 24, about the same age as Tielemans. Like good age, and I think he's more than capable of playing in the Premier League. Um, but we'll have to wait and see. Centre backs, I think we're fine. Um, Gabriel, White, Saliba, all challenging for that first team spot, and Holding his back up. Sick, that's pretty decent. Right back for me is important. We've only got I forgot his name. How the fuck is his name? Our Japanese right back. We've only got him. Cedric, I think, should leave. I've got a feeling he's going to stay, but he should leave. Bellerin's blatantly leaving. I think Bellerin's the guy that we're going to sell first. Um, get a new right back in. Get a new kid in. Julian Araujo, for example. I would have him. But get a new right back in. We need a new right back, especially a young one that's not going to take the first team spot immediately. And then goalkeepers, we've got Ramsdale. We let Leno go. We've got that Matt Turner coming in. So goalkeepers fine. Centre backs are fine. Left back. We need a new left back, preferably Martinez. We need a new right back. We need one, possibly two midfielders, and possibly a right winger as well if we let Pere go. So we've got a lot of transfers to do. We've got to sell. Normally, we sell all our players first, and then we know what we're dealing with. But this time, we've bought Gabriel Jesus. We've gone in for a load of players, and we haven't really sold anyone yet, except for Lacazette. But that was right at the very beginning of the window. So we'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, really good start. Absolutely needed Jesus in. Can't wait to see him play for Arsenal. It's going to be great. Hopefully, it's going to be what Lacazette could have been. Lacazette was great for the beginning, and so was Aubameyang, but this kid's super young, and we could potentially have Jesus for the next 3, maybe 4 seasons. Um, and I think he's good enough to propel us back into the Champions League as well. So, yes, that's pretty much it at the moment. As we make more signings, I'll make more videos and preseason as well. Going to preseason towards the end, obviously we just played against Ipswich and beat them 4-1. Pretty decent game. Ketia got a hat trick, which is great. Um, not running, well, not dwelling too hard on it because obviously Ipswich they're League One, so it's not like the hardest competition, but still a first half hat trick from a player that you've just re-signed on a long term contract and you're giving one of your iconic numbers to is pretty good. So hopefully he can keep up. He needs to have a really good preseason in particular. He needs to start. He needs to. It's on him now. Arteta's giving him the ultimate help and opportunity, and Arteta's like, go do your thing, show me that I'm right. And then it's Eddie's time now to show that he was worthy of that. So we'll have to wait and see. As more preseason games happen, I'll do more videos as well. And the season's going to be quite interesting with the World Cup. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So also don't forget to check out my Flores Watch videos as well, where I cover Marcelo Flores, our Mexican U23 almost first team player. Um, so check out that. He's on the verge of becoming the second Mexican player to play for Arsenal. So it's pretty sweet. Or Mexican man. His sister's already the first Mexican woman to play. So yeah, take it easy, guys. Exciting times, and I'll see you guys soon. Take it easy.